Okay, welcome in one and all. I'm now going to be reviewing all of yesterday's action from the NHL. There were 9 games on tap, therefore 18 teams were hungry for 2 points. Starting with the teams you see on the screen as the Ottawa Senators went into Montreal to take on Les Habitants. In the first, Greg would open the scoring with a short-handed goal for the Senators, getting his 7th goal of the season from Brandstrom and Norris. Sanderson would score less than a minute after that, increasing the lead to 2-0, his 7th goal of the season from Zub and Stutzel. In the second period, Pinto would get his first goal of the season after that long suspension from the Senators. Assisted by Claude Giroux, 6 minutes and 22 seconds into that frame. So it was 3-0 in favor of the Sens after 40 minutes of play. Kovacevic would finally get the Montreal Canadiens on the board, 7 minutes 29 seconds remaining in that period. His 6th goal of the season from Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. Matthew Joseph would increase the lead to 4-1 for the Senators, getting his 8th goal of the season with 2 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in the game. So 4-1 would be the final score of this one. With the victory, the Senators are now 18, 24, and 1. They are now currently tied for second. So they're currently in a two-way tie for last place in that Eastern Conference, while Montreal is now on a 2-game losing streak, I do believe. 19, 21, and 7 is where they stand at the end of this one. All right, now we're off to Detroit. We have the Red Wings, and they're playing host to the Dallas Stars. Okay, so we'll take a look at the goal scoring summary from this matchup. In the first, Robertson would open the scoring with a power play goal for the Stars, getting his 17th of the season from Harley and Hintz. Perron would tie the game up with a power play goal of his own with 5 minutes and 27 seconds remaining, his 10th of the season from Shane Gostisbehere and Lucas Raymond. Alex DeBrincat would add a late power play goal for the Red Wings, giving them a 2-1 lead after 20 minutes of play, his 18th of the season from Daniel Sprong, and that goal happened with 3 minutes and 7 seconds to go in the frame. In the second period, Marchment would tie the game up 22 seconds into that second period, his 15th of the season from Matt Duchene and Tyler Seguin. Roope Hintz would score his 21st goal of the season from Wyatt Johnson and Harley 4 minutes 35 seconds into that second period, giving the Stars a 3-2 lead. Lindell would double up the lead to 4-2, getting his 4th goal of the season with 9 minutes and 20 seconds to go, assisted by Wyatt Johnson and Roope Hintz. Speaking of Roope Hintz, he would record his 2nd goal of the game, his 22nd of the season, from Wyatt Johnson with 4 minutes and 48 seconds to go at that point. So 5-2 in favor of the Stars after 40 minutes of play. Dylan Larkin would cut the deficit to 5-3, a power play goal, his 19th of the season from Lucas Raymond. That goal happened with 9 minutes and 32 seconds remaining. JT Compher would cut the deficit to 5-4 with 3 minutes and 14 seconds to go, his 11th goal of the year from Alex DeBrincat and Dylan Larkin. But unfortunately for the Red Wings, they were not able to tie the game, so 5-4 would be the final score from this game. With the victory, the Stars are sitting at 28, 13, and 6, still sitting third in that Central Division, while the Detroit Red Wings, despite the loss, are still in a wild card spot, 24, 18, and 5. All right, now we're off to Philadelphia, where we have the Flyers playing host to the Tampa Bay Lightning. All right, so let's take a look at the game summary from this matchup. Braden Point would open the scoring for the Lightning in the first, a minute and 46 seconds into the frame, his 22nd of the year, assisted by Crozier. Kucherov would double up the lead to 2-0, getting his 29th of the season from Hagel and Radish, with a minute and 15 seconds to go in the period. So after 20 minutes of play, it was 2-0 in favor of the Bolts. In the second period, Kucherov would get his 2nd goal of the game, his 30th of the season from Braden Point and Stamkos, 2 minutes and 24 seconds in that second period, his power play goal. Atkinson would tie the game up roughly halfway through that period, his 13th of the season, assisted by Farabee and Walker. Drysdale would get his 2nd goal of the season. I believe this was his first as a member of the Philadelphia Flyers, from Frost and Atkinson, a power play goal with 5 minutes and 56 seconds to go in the period. Easymont would double up the lead to 4-2, giving the Bolts a power play goal with 2 minutes and 18 seconds to go, his 8th of the season from Kucherov and Victor Hedman. So after 40 minutes of play, it was 4-2 in favor of Tampa Bay. In the third period, Cam York would cut the deficit to 4-3, just 42 seconds into that third period from Morgan Frost. Braden Hagel would increase the lead to 5-3 with exactly a minute to go. His 14th of the season from Cirelli and Christian Dahan. And then Kucherov will get a hat-trick goal. His 31st of the season from Cirelli and Perebix. And that will happen with 11 seconds to go in the game. So the Bolts would hang on to win 6-3. So with the victory, Tampa is now sitting at 25-18-5. They are currently sitting in the number 3 spot of the Atlantic Division. And for the Flyers, they're 25-17-6. I believe they're either second or third in that Metropolitan Division. All right, now we're off to Long Island, where we have the Islanders. They played host to the Vegas Golden Knights. All right, let's take a look at the goal scoring summary from this matchup. In the first, Barbashev would open up the scoring over halfway through, 8 minutes and 8 seconds to go. 9 minutes and 8 seconds to go, getting his 12th of the season from Pietrangelo. In the second, Nelson would tie the game up, getting his 21st of the season from Romanov and Dobson, 3 minutes and 35 seconds into that frame. Rempel would get his first goal of the season for the Vegas Golden Knights, giving them a 2-1 lead, assisted by Nick Waugh and Alex Pietrangelo. And that'll be a power play goal to note, 7 minutes and 18 seconds into that frame. Less than 2 minutes after that, Nick Waugh would increase the lead to 3-1, getting his 9th of the season from Marchessault and Barbashev. So 3-1 in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights after 40 minutes of play. In the third period, Pajot would cut the deficit to 3-2, getting a short-handed marker, his 6th of the season from Holmstrom and Palesh, 9 minutes and 26 seconds into that frame. But unfortunately for the Islanders, they're not able to mount a comeback, so 3-2 would be the final score in favor of Vegas. So with the victory, the Golden Knights are sitting at 28-14-6. They are still in second place in that Pacific Division, while the Islanders, who are still chasing a playoff spot themselves, are 20-16-11. All right, now we're off to Minnesota. We have the Wild, and they're playing host to the Washington Capitals. Okay, let's take a look at the game summary from this matchup. In the first, Faber would open up the scoring a minute 37 seconds into the frame, getting his 4th of the season from Zuccarello and Rossi. Foligno would increase the lead to 2-0 over 3 minutes into that period. Over 3 minutes after the score, 4 minutes and 42 seconds to be exact, getting his 8th of the season from Boldy and Eriksson Ek. In the second period, Johansson would increase the lead to 3-0, 6 minutes and 28 seconds into the frame, his 7th of the season, assisted by Zach Bogosian. Anthony Mantha would finally get the Capitals on the board exactly 10 minutes in that period. His 13th of the season from Kuznetsov and Ferrari. Wow. After 40 minutes of play, it was 3-1 in favor of the Wild. In the third period, Eriksson Ek would increase the lead to 4-1, getting his 20th of the season from Foligno and Broden, a minute and 37 seconds into that frame. Johansson would record his second goal of the game, his 8th of the year from Hartman and Maroon, with 6 minutes and 21 seconds to go. It was 5-1 in favor of the Wild. TJ Oshie would get a late power play goal for the Washington Capitals, getting his 8th of the season from John Carlson and Max Pacioretty, 2 minutes and 57 seconds to be exact. And then Anthony Mantha would get his second goal of the game, his 14th of the year from Malestin and Nick Dowd, and that was a minute and 36 seconds to go in the period. So 5-3 would be the final score from this one. With the victory, the Wild are now sitting at 21-21-5. They're also trying to chase a playoff spot, while the Capitals are 22-17-6. And just like the Wild, they're on the outside of the playoffs looking in. All right, now we're off to Calgary, where we have the Flames playing host to the St. Louis Blues. All right, let's take a look at this matchup. So in the first, Uyghur would kick things off for the Flames with 9 minutes and 22 seconds to go, getting his 11th of the season from Anderson and Nazem Kadri. In the second, Brandon Saad would tie the game up, getting his 12th of the year from Pareko and Nicoletti, 8 minutes and 27 seconds into that period. Hanifin would score with 9 minutes and 47 seconds to go, getting his 8th of the season from Sharon Govich and Christian Tanev. Speaking of Sharon Govich, he would get on the goal score sheet himself, recording his 20th of the year from Huberdeau and Lindholm with 7 minutes and 43 seconds to go, making it 3-1 at that point in favor of the Flames. Braden Shen would cut the deficit to 3-2 late in that second period, 2 minutes and 47 seconds to be exact. His 11th of the year, and that would be a shorthanded marker, so 3-2 in favor of Calgary after 40 minutes of play. In the third, Kyrou would tie the game up 6 minutes and 56 seconds in that frame, getting his 13th of the season from Rob Thomas and Nick Leddy. And then just when it looked like the game might be heading into overtime, Brandon Saad would get his second goal of the game, his 13th of the year from Parayko and Nick Leddy, with 48 seconds to go, and that would be the game winner. 4-3 would be the final score in favor of the Blues. So with the victory, the Blues are sitting at 23-20-2, and with the loss, the Flames are 21-21-5. Both these teams are still on the outside of the playoff bracket. All right, now we're off to Edmonton. We have the Oilers, and they played host to the Columbus Blue Jackets. All right, let's take a look at the game recap from this matchup. So in the first, Warren Foegele opened the scoring for the Edmonton Oilers, getting his 10th goal of the season from Evander Kane and Darnell Nurse, a power play goal, 7 minutes and 30 seconds to be exact. With just under 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes and 35 seconds to be exact, Voronikov would tie the game up, getting his 10th of the season, assisted by Johnson. So after 20 minutes of play, it was all tied up at 1. There's no scoring in the second. We would jump all the way ahead to the third period, where Evander Kane would put the Oilers on top, getting his 15th of the year from Foegele and Nugent Hopkins. 4 minutes and 53 seconds into that frame. McDavid would score less than a minute after that, getting his 17th of the year from Draisaitl and Cody Ceci, 5 minutes and 48 seconds to be exact. And then Dylan Holloway would put the game away with just under 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes and 24 seconds to be exact. His second of the season from Connor Brown and Brett Kulak. So 4-1 would be the final score in favor of the Oilers. And it's hard to believe that after this victory, they're sitting at they're on a 14-game winning streak, which is absolutely absurd. And I think they're tied for like 5th all time. The record is 17 games. So if they can manage to win out the next 4 games in a row, they would set the new record for the NHL for most consecutive wins. So it's possible, but we'll see what happens. So with the victory, the Oilers are sitting third in that Pacific Division. And with the loss, the Blue Jackets, unfortunately, are still sitting last in that Metropolitan. All right, now we're off to Anaheim, where we have the Ducks playing host to the Buffalo Sabres. Okay, let's take a look at the matchup. Jacob Silfverberg would kick things off for the Ducks in the first, getting his 3rd goal of the season from Radko Gudas and Cam Fowler. So after 1 period of play, it was 1-0 in favor of the Ducks. And that goal happened 5 minutes and 51 seconds into that frame. Carrick would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his 7th of the season, assisted by Zellweger and Tristan Terry. That goal happened 3 minutes and 37 seconds into the frame, a power play goal to note. Less than a minute after that, Silfverberg would get his 2nd goal of the game, 4th of the season from McTavish, making it 3-0 in favor of the Ducks. 4 minutes and 30 seconds is when the goal was potted in the back of the net. After 40 minutes of play, it was 3-0 in favor of Anaheim. Greenway would finally get the Buffalo Sabres on the board with a late power play goal, 5 minutes and 19 seconds to be exact, his 5th of the season from Rasmus Dahlin and Dylan Cousins. Okposo would cut the deficit to 3-2, getting his 9th of the season from Tristan Thompson and Jordan Greenway, and that goal happened 3 minutes and 56 seconds to be exact. And then Adam Henrique would double up the lead to 4-2 with 1 minute and 9 seconds to go, his 15th of the year from Paterno and Cam Fowler. So 4-2 would be the final in favor of the Ducks. So with the victory, the Ducks are 16-30-1, still second last in the Pacific Division. And speaking of second last in your division, the Sabres, that's where they're at, even after this one, 20-23-4 is their record. All right, now the last matchup from Tuesday took place in San Jose. We have the Sharks. They played host to the New York Rangers. All right, let's take a look at this matchup. So in the first, Adam Fox will kick things off, getting his 8th of the season from Lafreniere and Trocheck, 7 minutes and 55 seconds in the first. In the second period, Panarin would increase the lead to 2-0, just a minute and 38 seconds in that period, his 29th goal of the season from Adam Fox and Miller. In the third period, Nico Sturm would cut the deficit to 2-1, getting the Sharks their first goal of the game, his 3rd of the year, 2 minutes and 19 seconds into the frame. Just over 2 minutes after that, 4 minutes and 27 seconds to be exact, Ryan Carpenter would pot his 3rd goal of the season from Jan Ruta and Zadina, tying the game up at 2. We would need overtime in this one, where Thomas Hertl would complete the comeback for the Sharks, getting his 15th of the season from Ruta and Barabanov, a minute and 29 seconds in that overtime frame. So with the victory, the Sharks are still the last in that Pacific Division. They're sitting at 13, 31, and 4, and despite the overtime loss, the Rangers are still top of that Metropolitan Division, quite comfortably, by the way, 29, 15, and 3. All right, that takes care of my recap from Tuesday night of the NHL. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, please feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. And as always, take care.